Why do we miss our true nature? Why do we miss the simplicity of self and what we are? Well, you've probably heard before from someone other than me. One of those people with a recognizable name that that what we are is so apparent that it's not obvious, that it becomes obscure, right? Heaven is on earth and men do not see it. So the problem is it's so apparent that it becomes obscure. And there's a lot of ways the brain, the mind, ego, whatever you want to call it, tries to figure this one out, and mostly just confuses the issue, right? And then there's also just some human, normal human things that make it difficult to see, right? One is one of those normal human things is that we tend to be in one of two states, right? Either we're peaceful and everything's fine, and in which case, we may be kind of aware of self, true nature, and true nature is actually so quiet, so simple, and so sort of apparent in those times that we just fail to see it. Or the other sort of typical state of a human being is we're so upset and so stormy inside that we don't, we fail to recognize that true nature can also be stormy. And that true nature can exist right in the middle, in the heart of storminess, and include storminess. So I'm going to try and break this down a little bit. I'm just, I'm giving the big picture, the overview right now. And we'll attempt to, I will invite you into experimenting with this as well. So, maybe the way this is going to unfold is kind of in two parts, right? One part is we're going to look at true nature in the midst of quietness. So if you're feeling peaceful, quiet, etc., you'll probably have an easier time understanding that route. And if you're not, if you're upset, if you're feeling a lot of inner division, that'll come in afterwards. I'll do that route, point for that experience, and so maybe there's an opportunity for you, no matter what state, no matter sort of what your internal experience is right now. And it's quite possible that one will lead to the other, or vice versa, right? It's quite possible that if you're feeling calm, and right now, and I point to true nature, something may arise which stirs up the storminess. And if you're feeling stormy, if you got a lot going on emotionally, or in your thinking, it's quite possible that pointing to true nature will have the opposite effect on you. You'll feel more calm. So let's start with calm. So the invitation here is to be totally still, right? It's a good way to start. Whatever you're doing, if you're doing something, just stop. Sit down. You could lie down, but I find sitting works well. Sit down in a place you're not likely to be disturbed. And take a couple breaths. Feel your feet on the floor. Feel gravity holding you to the earth. Feel your body. Just a couple relaxed but deep breaths. So you're calm, you're peaceful. And for the purposes of this experiment, we're just going to put down seeking for the moment. We're not trying to change anything. And we're not looking for anything, right? We are not looking outside, and we're not looking inside for anything. If we're doing anything, it's just being and experiencing. And when we're not looking for anything, when we're not being pulled around by our emotions, by our thoughts, we are experiencing our true nature. And it tends to be pretty quiet. And thoughts may come, subtle feelings may come. Awareness may rest or flit from one thing to another. A little sound here, a little feeling in the body, a little movement over here. And this is it. We've arrived. This is true nature. There is nothing to look for, nowhere to go with true nature. And one of the simplest ways that we tend to take ourselves out of this is to say something like, well, this isn't awakeness, this isn't enlightenment, to ourselves. This isn't that big, profound experience I had once upon a time. And if we do that, and if we believe it, then we will have left ourselves and left true nature. So simple that we do not see it. Heaven is, in other words, so simple. We are, in other words, so simple, so obvious, so present. That we tend to dismiss our reality. Because it's not high enough, doesn't feel amazing enough, because it's so simple and so obvious that we dismiss it. And so the invitation is to hang out with this. Hang out with yourself. Hang out in true nature a bit. Why would you want to be anywhere else? So maybe this part is easy for you. Great. Maybe this part of true nature is pretty straightforward. You like to sit. You like to experience yourself. And if that's the case, odds are good that what you struggle with is its opposite. You know, true nature seems to disappear, seems to go away when turmoil is up. When consciousness is seemingly being pulled in all kinds of opposite directions, when a lot of action is required in the world. And if that's the case for you, you know, there's a good chance that you're using meditation to try and suppress that that other side of true nature that other side of being incarnated, being human. And we'll talk about that more. So we'll call this experiment number 1 complete. Experiment number 1 for the person experiencing a lot of calm. Now, for experiment number 2. So experiment number 2. Consciousness is all riled up. You are all riled the fuck up. Sit still. What? I'm agitated. I'm anxious. I feel angry. I feel hurt, sad, shame. I feel blame, jealousy, whatever. I can't get this thing out of my head. These thoughts. Yada, yada, yada. Sit still. Just the thought of sitting still makes your skin crawl. And good. That's what I have to say to that. Good. Good. You're not. You may be repressing some things, but you're not repressing yourself in this moment. So this route is a little different. Let's say you're experiencing a lot of fear. A lot of fear. My invitation would be maybe to stand. Standing always helps fear move through my system. And maybe shake a little bit. Just let yourself kind of wobble around. Shake your arms, shake your legs. And what we're doing here is we're inviting ourselves to experience this fear fully. And this may take a couple minutes. Just let yourself shake. Whoa. Fear often feels a lot like cold and shivering to me. Breathe. Maybe you want to make some sounds. Make some sounds. Breathe, shake, make sounds. Maybe you're feeling anger. let yourself feel some anger. If you're in a place where you can yell, fucking yell. If you're in a place where you can punch or hit something, let yourself hit something. I recommend a pillow or a couple pillows or a bed. You could hit it with your hands, or you could hit it with a tennis racket. Let yourself feel anger. Let it move through you. Let yourself embody it. If you're in a place where you can't yell, I recommend yelling into something, an object that can muffle your yelling. It'll actually be pretty quiet. And if you don't have a pillow or something, a blanket to yell into, we almost always have a shoulder, upper arm. I just bring my upper arm, bring my mouth to it, and let it go right into there. Shame is uncomfortable, and I can usually do it sitting. Sadness might be sitting, kneeling, lying on the floor. So you're starting to get the picture here. The invitation is the same as in exercise 1, but it's a little more involved. When I say same, I mean that we are not repressing ourselves. We are not in resistance to ourselves. And we're not feeding ourselves. We're allowing what is to really be here. And most people are going to tend to fall on the side of resisting as opposed to feeding. Feeding is a possibility, but most people are going to fall on the side of resisting. So by allowing ourselves to feel fear, by allowing ourselves to feel anger, shame, whatever it is, it's sort of an active coming into alignment with what is. And maybe you're the type who sits down and your head just starts going. And oftentimes what that means is we're repressed emotionally. So it's coming out in the only place it can, which is thinking. So if it's all thought, so much thought, for you. The invitation is to sit, breathe, breathe into your heart. The heart chakra, if you will. Just breathe into your upper chest. Feel your body. Know that the thoughts are going to come. And just practice a little bit, bringing some attention, some awareness to your heart. And once you've allowed yourself to kind of embrace whatever it is you're feeling, in a sense, embrace your thinking, and you've come to sitting, now we're just going to sort of begin our experiment. So is true nature not here, not with us, right in the very center, heart, middle of turmoil? And maybe you've got a very sort of vehement voice that comes up that's like, no fucking way is true nature here. Can't you see? If you're if your dumbass was in my shoes, you would know that true nature is most definitely not here in this body. It's feeling conflict in this body that's all over the place and thinking, being torn apart. And if that comes up for you, and you want to believe it, you are welcome to. And if that voice comes up and your response is maybe a little more along the lines of Shakespeare. Like, methinks that voice doth protest too much. Then you can begin to question that voice. And it's questioning that voice does not require words necessarily. It's more of a feeling questioning, a curiosity. Is it really true that even in the midst of turmoil, strong feelings, that true nature is not present already? Is that really, really true? And then it's a listening. Listening, not a tense listening, not an anxious listening, just a calm listening. So once you've discovered that yes for yourself, that true nature is present even in the midst of turmoil, now we can play. Now we can ask ourselves some questions that may be relevant. So, is true nature in opposition to what I'm feeling? And just feel the answer. Is true nature in any way separate from what I'm feeling, experiencing, from tumultuous thoughts? Or does true nature encompass them? Do they take place in what true nature is? And can true nature be both small and spacious? Can true nature be both broken and whole, simultaneously? Can here's one for you men out there in particular. Can true nature be a lustful satyr and a loving, respectful partner, gentleman? Simultaneously. Can true nature be raging, fierce anger and a peacemaker, a lover, a bridge builder? I think you're starting to get the picture. So, true union is not denial of any parts of our nature or any parts of our experience. In a sense, true nature is a lover of it all. True nature has a big, full smile for existence. It wouldn't exist if it didn't. And there's plenty of room for improvement. That's what we're doing. You know, that's the only why for us is we're evolving here. But the biggest evolution, of course, is not outside of us. It's what happens when we allow ourselves to embrace true nature in all moments, peaceful, turmoil, inaction in the world. The only one that can lose the only one that can lose itself, lose true nature, is true nature. It's the only one with the power to do so. Which is good news. If you did not have the power to lose yourself, you would not have the power to find yourself. And hopefully this exercise has allowed you to start to see some of the ways that we deny true nature. And one of the most basic and common, of course, is just to say to ourselves, and believe it, oh, this can't be it. This isn't it. This is delusion. This doesn't feel good. And therefore, it's not true nature. This is difficult. Therefore, it's not true nature. This is too quiet. Therefore, it's not true nature. Couldn't be this simple. Therefore, this is not true nature. Doesn't feel clear. I don't feel clear. Therefore, this is not true nature. And this embracing of ourselves, could be a process, might not be. Maybe something sparked for you. But I'm just going to call it a process. It's a process. Learning to see all of ourselves. Learning to allow ourselves to experience all of ourselves. Learning to embrace our Zorba as well as our Buddha. Blessings on your embracing.